The goblet squat isn't just about building quads or glutes. When you hold the weight in front of your body, it changes the balance point. And that shift does something really important. It encourages you to stay more upright instead of falling back. And that matters a lot when we're talking about deep squats. Now let's get your stance right first. You're not gonna go super wide with this. When you're lowering in this position, your knees are in the same angle as where the toes are pointed. So in other words, you don't want them coming in like this. You don't want them to cave in. You don't want them to be wider and your feet be all up like this. You want them at the same angle. Also, it is okay for the knees to go over the toes. That's actually what we want. You also do not want an excessive arch in your back. You want nice and neutral. The goal here is not to come forward like this. Pick up your weight and you're going to be holding it like this. Now you're going to get into your stance. You can point your toes out slightly if you need to. Bring it close to your chest and bring your elbows in. This is your starting position on the side. Now you're gonna come down in a count of 4 seconds, so nice and slow. You're gonna allow your knees to go past your toes. And then when you get to the very bottom, you're gonna hold this position for 3 to 5 seconds. And then you're gonna come up in a count of 2 seconds. You're gonna do 2 sets of 5 reps of these. So here's the thing, in a deep squat, your hips have to bend a lot. Your thigh bone has to move backward in the hip socket and your pelvis has to subtly move with it. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Just enough to make some space. So if that combination doesn't happen, the body looks for other ways to make that deep squat happen. And that could look like you falling forward, that could look like you falling back, and that can also be a pinching feeling in the front of your hips. So when you have a weight and you hold it in the front, it helps keep your torso more upright and tall. And when your torso stays tall, your lower back doesn't have to compensate and excessively arch in order to get down into the movement. And when the lower back stops stealing the movement, the hips are finally forced to do their job. But here's the important part. This exercise is not about forcing depth, but what it does do is teach your hips and your pelvis to work together at depth. Here's another really important part to this exercise. When you pause at the bottom of the squat, you're not resting, you're training control. You are teaching your pelvis that it can stay steady while your hips are fully bent. You're teaching your nervous system that that deep squat is safe and manageable. The pause at the bottom also removes momentum and it forces your body to organize itself instead of running away from the position.